And welcome to a California Guy video with your boy California Guy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to this video. This is a response video to Pinhead Blackston's video that he did on pro-black versus Coons and pro-ghetto. Now, I listened to the video that Pinhead put out there about what is the difference between being pro-black and pro-ghetto and Coons. Now, it was a decent video, but it was a lot of discrepancies, and I'm gonna break it down. And anybody's welcome to make comments or response videos in the comment section. Now, Mr. Blackston pointed out in a very inferior manner that the blacks that's on Black YouTube are, pro-black is basically a joke. That's what I got out of what he was saying, that being pro-black is a joke. Now, some of the guys that he's referring to, some I don't get along with. Let's just be flat out. Some I don't. But I will say this. If you're doing videos on black issues, you're doing videos on racism, police brutality, or whatever it is, even pop culture, whether it's black pop culture like Beyonce, hip hop, or history, that is being pro-black. Now, I've looked at a lot. I'm new to black YouTube, and so I see a lot of black YouTube videos, whether some get along or some that do get along, and I see other ones that I've never even talked to. And a lot of videos is on black culture. A lot of videos is on a variety of black topics. What is pro-black? Now, he says a lot of the black YouTubers do not claim to be pro-black. Now, I've put the title on myself and called myself pro-black, but pro-black, let me break it down to black, Mr. Blackston. Pro-black meaning that you embrace black history, you embrace black culture, you embrace black people advancing in the United States, you advance black marriage, maybe black women. And so that's being pro-black right there. You don't have to have a PhD to be pro-black, or even a coon. You don't need. It's no education required. It's just basically a ideology. And we could go back into the 1960s with the Black Power movement, and before that, John Henry Clark. If you want to be technical about it, the pro-black movement was started by a lot of black intellectuals who wanted black people to be proud of their heritage, because our heritage was taken away from us from white supremacy when we came from Africa. So when we were slaves, we were assimilated into white society. We was assimilated. So a lot of stuff we kept, and then we offered. Black people has contributed to culture throughout the United States, and they don't know it. So people like myself, and there's other, I don't want to name drop other brothers out there and sisters, but a lot of brothers and sisters out there is trying to embrace that in the conscious community, or whether they're pro-black. They're reminding people that we do have a culture, and you should be proud of the culture. And to say that, now maybe if you're talking about your own personal enemies that you dislike, you could dislike a lot of different people. Tariq Nasheed, for example, that you mentioned Tariq Nasheed. Now, I disagree with a lot of stuff that Tariq Nasheed says, but Tariq Nasheed is not a coon. He still, to me, I would classify him as pro-black. And here's why. A lot of his radio shows center on black culture. It centers on black men and confidence. It centers on the melanin nation, being proud of your culture. Even his movies centers on black culture and where our roots come from. That's being pro-black right there. And he's awakening different brothers and sisters out there that used to be on drugs or sold dope and whatever you want to say. Now, it's questionable some things he say, but you can't sit here and say that he's not pro-black or he's a joke. Now, how do you classify pro-black? Are we supposed to be just straight intellectuals like Mark Lamont Hill or Cornel West? But being pro-black could be a black activist. It could be a black person that likes African designs and African culture and African music, African plays. I know for myself, my video centers on black culture. I'm pro-black. Now, I know I be in beef sometimes, but my videos and my content centers on black artwork, black music, black plays. It goes beyond the argument, and that's being pro-black. If you talk about different issues, even politics, to be fair, if you want to talk about politics and the investment of equality in the United States, That's being pro-black. And even some of your enemies that you don't really care for has promoted pro-black issues. They've pointed out some things I didn't even know. I'm a humble person, but some issues I never even knew about your enemies that you don't like, which I'm not gonna mention their names, have pointed out police issues that, again, some black people wasn't aware of. So we could learn stuff from each other. The problem with black people is we do not want to learn from each other. We look down on each other based on status and education, and we need to stop that. That's the thing that black people have to do. We have to stop this amongst our community and our people. And even if a person has made mistakes in their past, whether they were drug dealers, gang bangers, hookers, anything else, if they change, because I'm gonna tell you something. One of the best minds in America, Malcolm X, was a ex hustler and a pimp, and he fucked around with white women, but he was awakening through the Nation of Islam. They helped to awaken him when he was in prison, which advanced him. And it happens to a lot of brothers and sisters out there. So, a lot of black people wasn't born with the same opportunities, but if they find themselves and they can control their destiny and they can control their culture, that's all that matters. But to look down and say, well, you're pro ghetto or pro coon. Do black people do some ghetto stuff? Yes, I think we do. We all got a little bit of ghetto in us. But if we're trying to do the right thing amongst our people and amongst our heritage, that's all that matters. Why get on the pro blacks for stuff that coons do? If your focus is on ending white supremacy, embracing black culture, why is the focus on, per se, the pro black individuals? Shouldn't your focus be on the pro coon individuals? Because the coons are the ones that talk shit. The coons are the ones that say stuff like, oh, black people are race baiting, or black people are complaining, or black people are thugs, or black women are not shit. When, on the other hand, maybe the pro blacks are not perfect, but they're still embracing black culture at the same time. Being pro-black doesn't mean you're going to be a good black person. There's a lot of people that's pro-black. That doesn't mean, and I don't get along with a lot. Some pro-blacks I don't get along with on black YouTube even. But I can't take away that what they're doing, it maybe is the right thing as far as the culture is concerned. That doesn't take away the ideology part. So whether you get, and the same thing goes with in the real life in black communities across the world. If you're a black activist, you're still shooting for the same goals, unless you're a coon. Now, a coon is different. A coon is a joke. Nobody attacks the coon because they got strong numbers. So that's the difference in a coon. A coon is an Uncle Tom that sells out for white supremacy. So they basically belong to white supremacy. They give white people passes on being racist. So that's the thing. But I just get a very arrogant, that was a very arrogant video that Mr. Blackston has done. I would even debate him on that issue, because the issue is you're judging the ones that are pro-black that is trying to push out a positive agenda, and I think that's unfair to do that. Now we could break down arguments. If you're talking about breaking down certain arguments and content, then that's fair game. But to say that, oh, well, you're ghetto, if you're ghetto, you can't be pro-black, or the Coons one because the Coons seem like they educated. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to drop no Coon names, but majority of the Coons that's talking shit do not fucking have no education. That's pure fact. They offer no new ideals. They repeat the same things over and over and over again. It just sounds smarter because maybe they're not using profanity or they're not saying certain things. But the coons don't have no intelligence either. They're not saying nothing that's profound. They're not embracing anything. All they're saying is how bad black culture is, but they don't offer no solutions. That's the problem. They talk about how bad black people has become, but the coons offer no solution. Now, any black person could point this out to me on my YouTube page or message me of where the solutions come at with the coons. Why doesn't the coons offer a counterbalance to what black people is doing? I could point out negatives all day long on my YouTube channel, but still do not come up with no solutions at all. I could point out that drug problem is going on. I could point out that black out of wedlock marriage, whatever you want to point out. But guess what? I pointed out and I trash it, but where's the solution at? So that's the little things I'm saying. But if we love ourselves, love our culture, then we could go and give the positives to why black people is good in this country, what advancements that black people could make, and what can we do to get away from the negative shit, then we could start to reclaim our heritage. But talking down to these brothers on Black YouTube really is messed up. But that's all I'm gonna say. Like, share this video, people, and let's have this discussion. Peace out.